Howdy everyone, and welcome back to Southbound I-35, your stop for Texas country and red dirt music news and reviews, where you won't have to worry about those Nashville blues. This week I'll be covering the Cody Johnson concert in Helotes this past weekend, doing a short editorial on a Billboard article I read, reviewing Shane Smith and the Saints album Coast, and of course, Twitter shoutouts. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy your cruise down Southbound I-35, the road that always takes you home. First off, I read a very disappointing piece of clickbait from Billboard recently. It was trending on Twitter, and since it held the grandiose headline, "Nashville songwriters speak out about the lack of women in country music, and songs they wish they wrote," I checked it out. The issue about the lack of women in country music has actually been on my mind recently, but to my disappointment, out of the 10 songwriters they interviewed, they only asked about that topic to 3 of them. And each one answered with basically the same, "hell if I know," each time. One thing that stood out to me in the article, though, was some of the songwriters' remarks about what the producers were telling them to write. Or, rather, what not to write. For example, John Knight, known for the song "We Were Us," sung by Keith Urban and Miranda Lambert, has been told not to use the words truck or whiskey in his songs, and he wasn't the only one to have been told that. The article also had a link to an interview with Luke Bryan, which touched on the subject of quote-unquote frat boy music, which I guess is their way of avoiding the term bro country. I read through the part that directly had to do with the bro country issue, and aside from the writer throwing out a straw man saying that Bryan's song "All My Friends Say" was included in the whole thing despite it being released years before bro country became a discernible thing, it did make me think about an important issue: artistic honesty. You see, he was actually in a fraternity when he was in college, and says that's the reason why he writes some of the songs that he does. And he did say, though, that once he got old enough, of course he would stop writing songs glorifying his college party days. But that's what he lived, and that's what he wants to write right now. This also got me to thinking about exactly how do you balance the 3 aspects of what the artist wants versus what the audience wants, and whatever the label might want. Obviously, people listen to country music because of down-to-earth, honest songs that reflect the lives of the people who sing them. And the genre is known for songs of personal experience. And so if someone grew up partying out in the fields in trucks with their tailgates down or ran wild with their fraternity brothers, well, writing about that is only honest, right? And so you should expect people to write that, right? Well, that same night, I discovered Hunter Hutchinson, who is a proud member of his fraternity at Texas Tech, and whose music runs rings around Luke Bryan's in terms of variance and theme. So, I don't know. I kept thinking about it, and it hit me, at least for me, the issue wasn't necessarily the themes of the songs themselves. We've had party songs and truck songs for decades. It was just the fact that they were all the same. There was very little variance. It is possible to write a very good song about cruising through the countryside with your girlfriend and having a lot of fun. And, I mean, Alabama had one. Dixieland Delight is all about that. And they did it much better. And I'm saying this not really liking Alabama. To me, they were the original pop country. And even so, they have songs that I do like and are pretty creative, Love in the First Degree being one of them. And overall, their music quality was much better than what's putting out now because they actually had talent enough to do really tight vocal harmonies and not relying on electronic instruments and auto-tune to enhance their music. And I'm not necessarily saying that electronic instruments are bad, but they kind of take the down-to-earth, real sound of country and just kind of phases it out, and I'm totally digressing from my point right now. But just the monotony and the volume of the exact same song coming out month after month, year after year, and this the fishy smell that someone higher up was just encouraging this trend, which we kind of know is the case since they're now telling people not to write those songs anymore. Which is actually a good thing if you think about it in one aspect, but it's also a bad thing because they're also at the same time limiting creative freedom, which just complicates the issue even more. I had a lot of fun thinking about it though, but what do y'all think about this issue? What does an artist do if the audience doesn't want what they're writing? Do they just keep writing the same thing? Does the audience get a say in what's being written? Does the audience even know what they really want? And that's why there's record labels with focus groups and numbers and charts and figures? Let me know. Shout out to me on Twitter or email me directly at southboundpodcast@gmail.com. Whether you're a musician or a songwriter or just a fan, let me know what you think about this, and if I get enough replies, then I'll do another segment on this and discuss what the responses I got were. On a much less critical note, the concert on Saturday was awesome. I went with my buddy Mobius, who is the one who did my logo, and he stood around being sketchy for a while until the crowd got too big. He got some pretty decent sketches of Sam Riggs and John Wolfe, but once Cody Johnson came on stage, the crowd had gotten so dense that he didn't have room to sketch without people bumping into him. At that point, he just relaxed and enjoyed the concert and got to show off his sketches to Sam and John after they were done playing. We got there slightly late due to parking issues and got inside after Sam Riggs had already taken the stage, but after a quick brisket sandwich, I found myself a good spot in the crowd and took it all in. This is the second time I've seen Sam Riggs live. The first time was at Lone Star Jam back in May, which was a whole lot of fun, even though he came on near the end after I had gotten tired of standing around in the crowd and was up on the hill, so heard everything through a layer of reverb from the surrounding buildings, but it was a whole lot of fun. I'm glad I got to see him again. He's got a whole lot of talent. He's got a solid country rock style, but can also do some folksy stuff too. And that night at Flores, he played the fiddle, banjo, guitar, and even got on the drums at one point. He went through a cover of Garth Brooks' Callin' Baton Rouge, and in his own songs, Angora's Lament, Long Shot, Hang On and Let Go, and a bunch more. His segment seemed to be the shortest, but that might have been just due to me getting there a little bit late. I picked up his album Outrun the Sun, and look forward to hearing more from him. If you want to catch him in person, he'll be touring around Texas in the coming weeks at Bono Saloon in Decatur, Texas on August 7th, Bonita Creek in Nacogdoches, Texas on August 8th, and the Kenny Store in Kenny, Texas on August 12th. For more tour dates and info, you can check out his website at samriggsandthenightpeople.com. As always, you can check the description for direct links to these websites. Up next was John Wolfe. John Wolfe has more of a traditional country sound to his music and is big on storytelling. I've heard some of his songs on the radio before, but this is the first time I had seen him live. And I came to the realization during his performance that I've been mistaking a lot of his songs for George Strait songs. You see, like I said before, I've pretty much only heard him on the radio, and most of the time I don't hear the DJ announce who's singing, and both his voice and style are similar in many aspects, especially in his more mellow songs. I'm also absolutely horrible with names in general, and unless I'm really familiar with an artist's songs or seen them in person, I have trouble associating songs with the correct artist sometimes. Anyway, Wolfe put on a great performance with songs like I Don't Dance, Smile on Mine, That Girl in Texas, and at numerous points he'd be talking about his music or background behind the songs, and he'd end it all with, "It all happened in a honky-tonk," only to move on to a totally different song. He did eventually sing it, but it was hilarious watching everyone cheer for the song each time at its mere mention. I'd say that if you were new to John Wolfe and had to choose a song to learn before going to a concert, that would be the one to go for. That or That Girl from Texas. If you want to catch him live, he's going to be touring around the Central Texas area in places such as Stubbs Barbecue in Austin, Texas on August 15th, Wild West in Cedar Park on August 20th, and Midnight Rodeo in San Angelo, Texas on August 21st. You can see more tour dates and listen to his music at johnwolfecountry.com. And after Wolfe stepped down, Cody Johnson took the stage. By this time, the area in front of the stage was totally packed, and if you left to get a drink, you had a very hard time penetrating the crowd to find your friends again, or even get a good vantage point for pictures and video. This is the second time I've heard him. The first time was over a year ago at the now defunct Midnight Rodeo in Austin. I've liked his music since I first heard it. He's got a very distinctive voice and a great band to back him up. He went through his set filled with songs like Lucky, Guilty as Can Be, Bottle It Up, and of course, Cowboy Like Me, which he dedicated to all those who served in the armed forces and their families. He also previewed songs from his upcoming album that will be released next spring. They did an amazing job with everything, and he gave each member of his band a chance to show off, and on top of that, near the end of the show, he had Sam Riggs and John Wolfe come back up on stage to do an amazing rendition of Midnight Rider, with a whole crowd cheering and singing along. He tours all over, and if anyone else wants to see him live, he'll be in Colorado Springs in Colorado on August 7th, the XIT Rodeo and Reunion in Delhart, Texas on August 8th, and Kane's Ballroom in Tulsa, Oklahoma on August 21st. You can check out further tour dates and see some of his music videos on CodyJohnsonMusic.com. Overall, it was an awesome night, which was totally worth the 4 hours it took to get there and back home. I got 3 albums out of it and can't wait to give them a good listen. Oh yeah, I'd like to mention at this point that Southbound I-35 now has a YouTube channel. You can find a link in the description, and I'll be uploading footage from concerts I go to as well as all the podcast episodes. So check it out and subscribe. And now, with the upcoming release of Shane Smith and the Saints' new album, Geronimo, I wanted to review their current album, Coast. Y'all got a preview of some of it back in episode 1 when I went to their concert in Cedar Park, but I didn't get to talk too much about their music. Shane Smith and the Saints is a band from East Texas that has a very unique folk rock sound. Shane Smith himself has been involved in music since he was young, and devoted his life to music back in 2010. He's a big storyteller and packs each song that he writes with emotion and sentiment. The album starts off with Highway, a song about him traveling through life and what inspired his music. It's a song full of movement that switches about talking about the highway as a metaphor and a literal highway he's traveled on. It features electric guitar, bass, and a dynamic keyboard track to bring this story about his music to life.
It's like a check stop in that west town, I-35. You're headed south on your left, and that sunset's on your right. And I had Ray Wiley Hubbard on my stereo, singing Telstar songs. His rhythm and soul just reminds me of an old prophet, telling secrets that have yet to have ever been told.
Everyone has that place they can go to that just re-energizes them. That place that after days and days of work and stress, just the thought of it can bring relief. Coast is the musical equivalent of the unbridled joy of returning to that place and just forgetting about everyday life for a while. Starting out with bright electric guitar and adding in upbeat drums, fiddle, and a soft bass line, Shane takes you on a trip down to the coast.
Filled maze and a barefoot boy on a jetty plank as he walks into the goal. In a lighthouse shining out to the sea, to the shrimpers staring in disbelief at the mermaid saying he's gotta believe that a light will take him home. And by the Mississippi River there's a southbound train and it's headed for the goal. Gonna buy my ticket and hold it tight till I know I'm getting close. See me running down the alleyway looking for the jetty, searching for my soul, you know. Oh, I'm headed for the coast.
Feather in the Wind is a hopeful song with multiple themes running through it. Shane speaks about figuring out life, focusing on what's in front of you, and longing for that someone who is very much a part of you who you miss when you're kept apart by work. At this time, I'd like to point out that one feature of Shane Smith's music is that he is quite the wordsmith and fills his lyrics with very vivid and rich imagery, and this song is no exception. It features smooth guitar, drums, bass, and a very expressive fiddle.
So I post up on the front porch and watch all them young guns fly. But they hit the gas and feel tough, and the speakers ain't enough because them horses make them feel alive. Girl, I don't know, I don't understand this life. It's like a puzzle that fits so good. I got a show tonight, and tomorrow I'll confess my sins. I'm just a feather in the wind.
In Work Was Through, Shane is accompanied by Texas country veteran Aaron Watson in a tribute to the lives of great musicians who have passed on. It is a slow, soulful song that has the two singers coming together in some great harmonies. Filled with pedal steel, a slow beat, and a mournful fiddle line, this song does a great job remembering the musicians who came before them.
For some lefty they call Cobain, and a man in black right down to his shoes. Fell in love with June and the roaring of the inmates as he sang cocaine blues. Where did they go? I know where to. You think they knew or had no clue? You think I told them boys you've done everything I needed you to do?
We Were Too Young is a quiet, reminiscing song about a young love that is remembered fondly, but that didn't work out. Once again, this song features vivid imagery that, along with a contemplative guitar and soulful fiddle, allows the audience to experience his memory as he sings about it. Give it a good listen whenever you have a chance.
There was no season for your bloom. Red rose, you rose up to a desert moon. Pretty soon you made your way to town. And my dreams, they shine right through your face. Your hair would blow, but it would blow at a slower pace, slower than the breeze would. But I guess you blew away with the wind that went. I miss the way you left in the cold. Like a firefly, your hair would touch the sun and shimmer. And Mama told me love would come, but we were too young. Turned black the day you left, artist colors.
Without You is a pretty self-explanatory driving lament about being lonesome when someone very meaningful leaves to do something else with their life. The haunting refrain is backed up by a fiddle, steady beat, rolling banjo, and a great combination of electric and acoustic guitar, which expresses the heavy emotions that the song is about.
I am so lonesome without you, my baby doll. I am lonesome without you. She told me angels fly away, we'll meet again someday. I am lonesome without you, without you.
Moonshine is a dark, haunting story about the lives of some moonshiners out in the mountains. In this song, Shane's fiddler Bennett, who you heard playing fiddle for Mayu and Broussard in the last episode, gets to totally show off. The tone is set with moody electric guitar, calculated acoustic guitar, and a driving drum beat that will make you just have to listen to it through every single time.
They run a moonshine on that road. A set of moonshine is what they know. And in the moonlight you see shadows on the stones. And when the fire's out, they're gone and turning into gold. Still get chills when I see you.
Taking it back a little, Quite Like You is a soft love ballad for someone special about how no matter where he's been, there's nothing he's seen that's quite like her and everything she makes him feel. It's light, smooth, and airy, and demonstrates Shane's skill as a vocalist, being able to belt out loudly at one moment and bring it back and singing softly and gently in another, all backed by a slow drum beat, expressive fiddle, and guitar.
Every night I pray for you. I pray every wish you have comes true. And you dance with the stars till the morning dew. Every night I pray for you.
Cocaine Habit is a powerful song about the realities of addiction and how someone who's managed to temporarily escape its grasp can fall right back into it as the stresses of life become apparent once again. Framed as a Faustian pact with the devil confronts him with the consequences of his habit. This song features a good banjo line and the guitar playing of Ryan Engelman of the Turnpike Troubadours.
You kinda wanted to be sane, but he said, no boy, don't run. I got bored sitting at the rising sun. I'm back, I wanna talk about your dude. He said, I'm back and just where I could find you, yeah. As the cocaine habit fell down from my eyes, all the breeze would freezing with the skies, all the withered leaves of trees are let go as the devil's storm begins to snow.
Knights of Austin is a lonesome song about the titular Austin, Texas Knights and the people you can meet before the sun comes up. I can speak from personal experience in that most everything he describes is accurate, though my experiences with sunlight seem to differ greatly. The music reflects the loneliness that one might feel walking downtown after a night out before returning home for the morning, all accompanied by fiddle, bass drums, and electric guitar.
And as they practice in the night, they ain't got no power, you know them sheds got a one single light. But two 50-foot extensions gonna make everything alright, and so they play.
Canvas is another very powerful song recounting experiences of people coming and going out of one's life and how the best laid plans can just go awry. As with a lot of Shane's songs, this is a song to experience. It's slow, sentimental, and once again shows off Shane's strong ability with vocal dynamics. With a mid-tempo drum beat, fiddle weaving in and out among the guitar, sit back, listen, and then start remembering those you've missed in your own life.
From my family, who works a ranch by the border where the rain clouds never seen. And old Rocco was a ranch hand. He got fired from my boss, man. Now he works a dozer and he gon' pass. I ain't seen him in a long time. I wonder how he's getting by, and I wish our fate sometimes could take us back. He said your life is a canvas, you paint some every day. And when you think you got it all figured out in your head, you know the man's got your final say. And look back on all your memories, if we go our separate ways. Don't forget your life's a canvas, we might get painted back someday.
Losing someone is never easy, and Alex is about just that. I can't really comment on it very much because I don't know the background behind it, but you can tell what kind of impact this Alex must have had by the way Shane describes the loss, accompanied by electric guitar, lonesome banjo, and soft acoustic guitar.
And I've been handing things that others sweat and bleed for. I'm undeserving, I'm on a pedestal. I wish I knew you back before you had to leave, you know. I wish I truly felt your light. And I've been blessed in ways that almost sickens my mind. I wish you could run this right. You deserve my life.
The album ends on a much more cheery note with a story song about dancing the night away out in Louisiana. Dance the Night Away is a very fun, laid-back song with a fiddle setting the mood and Shane narrating the story beginning with the trip over. If any of y'all should go to a Shane Smith concert, this is one that, if they're not busy dancing, everyone is singing along with. Coast is one of my favorite albums to listen to, but it was very hard to review. Why? Shane Smith has more of a stream of conscious type style, which makes for great songs, but thoughts meander in and out, and it's hard to keep track and analyze all of the themes that can be present in just one song. That and his band does a great job with expression, and it's very hard not to get caught up in it and just listen. I'm usually not a big fan of songs that have short verses and are mostly repetitions of the chorus, but Without You and Knights of Austin don't get on my nerves at all. Shane Smith and the Saints' Coast goes over a wide range of experiences and emotions and is markedly contemplative, which is very refreshing. If you liked Coast, you can buy it on their website at shanesmithmusic.com, download it from iTunes or other online platforms. Once again, to end the episode, I'm going to give some shout-outs about musical people I've discovered on Twitter. First off, I'd like to talk about the Gibbonses. The Gibbonses, formerly the Jackie Pock Band, are a husband and wife duo based out of Dallas, Texas. They specialize in a more of acoustic southern soul sound, and from what I've heard so far, they have some great music that y'all just have to check out. This is their new single, Time. This week they did their first performance on The Ranch Factor, an annual battle of the bands put on by the radio station 95.5 The Ranch. You can find them touring around the Dallas-Fort Worth area in places such as the Nine Beards Bar in Allen, Texas on August 7th, the Sheraton DFW Airport Hotel in Irving, Texas on August 11th, and the Gordon Biersch in Dallas, Texas on August 14th. And y'all can check out their music on thegibbonses.com, follow them on Twitter at twitter.com/thegibbonsesduo, and like them on Facebook. Next up is Courtney Patton. Coming out of Granbury, Texas, Courtney Patton has a very traditional country sound and an amazing voice to sing it with. This is the title track to her most recent album, So This Is Life. Since I found out about her through her following me on Twitter early on, I've seen her name popping up and a lot of other people who I'd followed tweets and kept meaning to check out her music, and I finally did, and I have to say I've really been missing out. If you want to catch her live, she travels all around the world, but in the coming weeks she'll be at the Braun Brothers reunion at the festival ground, and I'm totally going to mispronounce this, Chalice, Idaho, on August 8th, and the Vintage Grill in Weatherford, Texas on August 15th. You can find out more and preview her music at CourtneyPatton.com. And finally, a very quick shout out to Brian Lee Robinson, a Texas A&M graduate and veteran Nashville songwriter. He writes music with a very raw, traditional feel. Check out his music at jajajorecords.com. Well, that's it for this week's episode. If you like what I do, please subscribe and comment. I really appreciate getting feedback and want to know how I can make it even better. Thanks for listening, and I hope y'all enjoy this week's cruise down Southbound I-35, the road that always takes you home. Music from Coast, So This Is Life, and Time were all used with permission from their respective artists. If you have any questions or concerns about my use of your music, would like me to feature your music on my podcast, or just want to say howdy, please email me at southboundpodcast@gmail.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/SBI35.